Deceptively simple to use and a powerhouse weapon that just happens to also be the best quote support weapon in the game, the hunting horn is the greatest weapon you probably haven't tried yet. Get ready to knock out and exhaust monsters in style. Welcome to my tutorial on the hunting horn. Hey guys, this is Gaijinhunter. What follows is my weapon tutorial from Monster Hunter Generations, and if you already know everything from it and you just want to jump to what are the changes in Generations Ultimate, about the new art, Alchemy Style, and Valor Style, jump to the timestamp in the description down below. If you're new to Generations or you want to have a refresher, please sit back and enjoy the entire video. Okay, before we jump in, let's quick cover the main concept of the weapon. Each time you attack, you get a colored node that appears on the staff that's shown on the upper left of the screen. Now you'll get a different color for X button attacks, A button attacks, and also X plus A button attacks. Each horn has a small list of buffs that you can activate if you line up the notes in a specific order and then press the R button to recite them. Now all horns have one song in common, and that's considered sort of an upkeep cost, and it's called movement up. Simply do an X button attack 2 times in a row and press the R button to play the song. Now while horn by default appears to be slow and sluggish, what this song does is make you move faster than any weapon in the game. I'm talking even faster than Sword and Shield. And during the song recital, press R again to do an encore, and this not only extends the effective duration, but also grants you Mind's Eye, meaning you'll never have your attack bounce off a monster, no matter how hard of the part that you hit. Now this effect lasts for 3 minutes, or 4 if you have the armor skill Horn Maestro. You only need to do this about 2 times during the hunt, so it's a very small price to pay for the benefits that you get. Okay, let's start with the guild style, as all the other styles derive from it. Now there are only 6 major moves for the horn. Press forward and X to do a downward slam. This is just a standard attack that has good reach. If you press X while you're idle or after the downward slam, you'll do a left swing. You can alternate these 2 attacks if you just keep pressing X. Okay, now let's go on to the A button attacks. Press A while idle to do the right swing. This is really your bread and butter attack, as it's fast and it has high reach as well. When you do it, think of it like a golf swing, so if you're facing a monster's head, you sort of want to tilt your body to the right when facing the monster and then swing it, and that will whack it right in the face. Press forward plus A to do a double note swing. Now this is actually a pretty weak move, but it's made for getting out notes really easily. After you press forward plus A to start the move, in the middle of the animation, press X, A, or X plus A, and you'll get that particular note, so really it's 2 notes in 1 move. Like X button attacks, pressing A in succession will alternate between the right swing and the double swing. Press X and A while idle to do the backwards slam. Since this is directly backwards, you can position yourself just like the golf swing, with your body kind of perpendicular to the monster's head and whack them right on the way back, or you can even do it with your back facing the monster completely. Press forward plus X and A to do what we call the super slam, and it deals really high exhaust damage. However, you have to be careful when using this online, as it will send your teammates flying, and not in a good way. Like the X button and A button, pressing X and A in succession will alternate between these 2 attacks. Finally, you can tap the special button on your touch screen to do a handle smack. This is actually cutting damage, but don't plan to be knocking off any tails or anything. It's mainly used for just getting off a quick A note, as the animation is faster than the right hook. That being said, it's really not used that much. Now on to song recitals. So each hunting horn has a small list of buffs that you can activate by having a specific combination of notes in the staff above. To recite a song, all you have to do is press R when you have a song lined up. It's simple. Now there are a few different types of motions that the recital will do depending on whether you do it while you're idle, after a forward attack, or after the behind the back slam. Make sure you do evade after a song is played, as it will exit the animation a lot faster than normal. Now if you play a song again while its effect is still active, it will extend the duration and also upgrade the effect. The upgraded effects are really good. For example, like I said before, attack up goes from a 15% boost to a 20% boost, earplugs become high grade earplugs, and so forth. To get the upgraded effect right off the bat, You can press R during a recital to go immediately into an encore without having to set up the notes twice. When you press R during a recital to do an encore, the attack that results from it is actually pretty darn powerful, and they do several hits and have high stun and exhaust damage, so try not to waste these by simply playing them off in the distance. Like the recital, there are 3 types of encore motions. Just pressing R and you'll do the powerful behind the back encore, which is great for both getting out of the way, or when used aggressively it can be very fun. If you hold left and press R during a recital, you'll do the left encore. This is pretty fast and good for positioning and won't knock around your teammates. Finally, there is a right encore if you hold right and press R during a recital, but I really don't recommend it because the animation is a little unnecessarily long. Now before we go to the other styles, there's one more thing that we want to cover in Monster Hunter Cross, and that's a new system called Special Notes. Now normally you can swing away at absolutely nothing and still get notes and play songs, but if you're an aggressive player, which you really should be, the game really rewards you heavily now. When you hit a monster with an attack, the note icon you get has a special design. If you play a song using nothing but special notes, it plays not only the current song, but also the previous one as well. That means you can play the Attack Up Large song once, and then for the next song you can do, let's say, Movement Up, and it will play not only Movement Up, but also serve as the encore for the Attack Up buff. It's insanely powerful once you get used to it, and it's fast and easy way to keep effects active without really having to worry too much about doing encores. My favorite has to be at the very beginning of the hunt. If you hit a monster with the X button attack twice and play this song, it'll play both Movement Up and Mind's Eye in one shot. Okay, now let's take a look at the aerial style. This style is actually really similar to Guild. The only difference is that you don't have the double note A button attack. If you press A a second time after the right hook, you'll do a handle smack instead. But in return you do get the aerial vault that you can do from doing a normal evade. And from there, if you vault off a monster, you can do a 2-hit aerial attack. For it, you can press X, A, or X plus A for either one of the 2 attacks, so it's very easy to line up a song that you want to do. Also, because you're vaulting off a monster, the chance of hitting the monster with those attacks is actually pretty high, so it also makes it easier to take advantage of the new special note system. Okay, next up is Bushido style, which is also really similar to Guild. Now the Bushido style is identical to the aerial style, except for instead of the aerial vault, you give up the double attack note for the Bushido evade. When you do the Bushido evade, you can follow it up with a 3-hit combo, and just like the aerial attacks, you can press X, A, X plus A for any one of the attacks and even mix it up as you like. The great thing about this is that you're not committed to all 3 attacks. You can evade out of this combo at any time. Lastly, let's look at the drastically different Striker style. The X button is now the awesome right hook, and pressing it again will do the left hook. The forward slam is completely gone. What this allows you to do is really just easily combo a left and right smack, which is kind of the bread and butter of the weapon to begin with. The A button now does the handle smack, and you can chain up to 3 in a row. This is mainly for songs that use 2 A button notes in a row, or if you're running a horn with like a status or an element and you want to get off a lot of hits, this could be a fast way to do so. The double note is completely gone. For X plus A, you also have only one move, which is the Super Slam. The awesome behind the back move is completely gone. So what this really means is just a focus on right and left smacks when the opportunity comes. The downfall of the style though is that the X plus A attack note is kinda hard to get because you lose the behind the back slam, which means you're stuck using the Super Slam if you want that note, and that's kinda hard to do online. Okay, before we review and talk about how good each style is, let's cover the Hunter arts. There is one really good one, and that's what I'm going to cover first, and it's what I like to call the special vibe. For a limited period of time, every attack you do will produce a special note whether you hit the monster or not. This is actually a lot more useful than it sounds. The next up is the Soundwave Slam. This is a series of very cool looking but kinda weak attacks, and then you follow it up with a Shockwave Strike. The problem with this art is that monsters really don't seem to flinch from it, and it does knock away every single other hunter that might be around you when you do it. Then finally we have the Orchestra Soul art. This plays every single song that your horn can do in one shot, the caveat being that it only affects you and it only gives you the default effect, not the stronger encore ones. And now on to some final thoughts. So it's kind of a good thing that there's only one amazing hunter art because it makes choosing a style a really open choice. Now while the striker style will only appeal to a specific crowd, I think all the styles are great. I personally prefer guild over striker. I appreciate the simplicity of the striker style, but one more art is simply not compelling enough to give up that behind the back slam. Guild does have two arts, and one fun way to use the second art is with the non-weapon specific one called Phoenix Breath. What this does is it erases every plus or minus ailment you might have, and for each one it'll heal you a little bit. Since a horn user always has about 2 to 3 song effects active at a given time, what this basically becomes is an emergency max potion. It also looks really funny. Aerial, like most of the other weapons, is quite fun and powerful. And Bushido is really good. The Bushido evade means that you can totally throw away the evasion plus armor skills in favor of attack boosting skills. Now, since the horn is a very close quarters weapon, evasion plus 1 or plus 2 is really kind of a staple that you want for this weapon, so being able to give these up completely just because you're choosing Bushido style is a really big benefit. Plus, I really like that the combo can be evaded out if you need to. And that's it. The horn is quite simple once you get the hang of it, and it's really fun to use. I also urge you to watch the tutorial on exhaust and stunning in the description below, as that will go over the additional benefits that both the horn and the hammer have over all the other weapons. Changes. A big overall change is the ability to move the song activation message to the bottom left rather than dead center, which is often where it'd be a distraction for yourself and other players, so great change from Capcom on that. Adept style also got a pretty significant boost as well. You can now play a song directly after an adept evade. The motion is fast and slick, and it's actually the same animation they're using for the new fancy hunter art, which I'll cover at the end of this video. The Soundwave hunter art also got buffed to account for high attack weapons. I won't share the motion value as the numbers in the official strategy guide are kind of debated because that guide had some errors in it, but it's like the strength of 2 large barrel bomb pluses with an endgame weapon, so while it's not that strong early in the game, it is quite strong at endgame. Alchemy Style. Control-wise, it's pretty much like the guild style, except you won't have the double note attack with A, and the behind the back attack, which I love so much, you'll have to do after a forward slam. You can't do it from idle. You do get access to the Alchemy barrel, though I do have to warn that playing songs and attacking and managing the barrel on top of all that could be a bit much for players that are not good at micromanaging stuff. Valor Style. While not in Valor mode, your forward X strike can only be done as a draw attack or after the left swing or poke, so not while idle. And the behind the back attack can only be done after a forward slam, so it's kind of similar to Alchemy Style in that regard. One interesting combo though is that after you do a forward slam, if you press A, you'll now be able to do a quick handle poke. Getting into Valor mode is actually really easy because all of the Valor cancel attacks build up your gauge pretty fast. You have a whopping 4 different options. Hold Y, and if you get hit during this motion, you'll automatically put away your weapon and take only 30% damage, or hold Y and press A to do the double note. If you're quick enough and you put in a different input, you can sneak in a different note color for that second hit. Hold Y and press X to do the forward slam, which actually charges the gauge a lot. Hold Y and press X plus A to do the backward slam. I love this because it's so fast, and it is my favorite attack. And finally, hold Y and press R to recite a song. So you may be asking yourself, well, why would I want to recite a song from a Valor Sheath cancel? The reason is because if you're not in Valor mode, you're not able to encore songs unless you play them from a Sheath cancel. Once you're in Valor mode though, the fun begins. You'll unlock that snazzy Valor step, which you can use to reposition yourself really easily. You also unlock the double note attack from default. The big change though here is the recital. If you do it after a Valor Sheath cancel or after a Valor step, it becomes a very fast and stylish animation. In fact, the Valor cancel recital also becomes a strong recital attack as well. Honestly, it's a little hard to describe in a video, but once you get used to it, Valor Style is actually really powerful and really fun to do. The one thing you do want to keep in mind though is unlike other Valor weapons, you don't want to be using that Valor evade so much, because when you put your weapon away, you're forced to sort of mess up your songs by playing a note to draw your weapon again. This is why Dash Juice is really nice, so you can use and abuse those Valor steps. New Hunter Art. At level 1 it lasts for 90 seconds, 120 for level 2, and 150 seconds for level 3. It will change your recital animations and your encore animations to have iframes at the top, and overall the animation is just a lot shorter. It's incredibly stylish and fun to use. It allows you to play songs and evade at the exact same time, and it activates really fast, so this is kind of a game changer for the hunting horn if you ask me. Overall, the hunting horn has always been one of the best weapons in the game that is just misunderstood or underused. The changes to the existing hunter arts are nice, and the new hunter art is a game changer. Style-wise, it's hard to beat good old guild style and adept, but alchemy is good for those who don't mind being a little bit busy, and valor is very interesting as well. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, happy hunting.